People want to make success rocket science. Success is not rocket science. You go and find the thing that you don't know, learn the thing you don't know, and do the thing you haven't been doing, and get the life you say you want.
What if you changed your dance with fear? What if you tell fear, you're welcome in my life because you're gonna come. Can't keep you away. But when you come, I'm not going to stop. What you can do tomorrow, why not do today? What you can do today, why not do right now?
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like na 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 na. For my top 10, top 10, na 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 na. This one's for my top 10.
I begin to become an explorer of what I don't know. I want to read books I'd never read. I want to hang around people that I'd never hang around. I want to know what they know. I want to have discussions about things I'd never talked about. I wanted to feed my brain something that my brain didn't know, so that my brain can tell my body to do something it never done. So then when my brain feeds my body and my body feeds my life, then I begin to have an experience that I'd never had before. It wasn't rocket science. People want to make success rocket science. Success is not rocket science. You go and find the thing that you don't know, learn the thing you don't know, and do the thing you haven't been doing, and get the life you say you want. All I wanted was unfamiliar. But you have to understand that most people don't invite in unfamiliar because people are more committed. Hold on. People are more committed to a familiar discomfort than they are to an unfamiliar new possibility. The key words are familiar and unfamiliar. See, we want to have a new experience while having some of the same behaviors because they're familiar to us.
Yeah, they're comfortable.
They're familiar. Some of them not even comfortable. People in relationships are not even comfortable.
True.
It's just familiar. People are still at jobs that aren't even comfortable.
Yeah.
They're just familiar. So that's the crazy, is that we are more committed to a familiar discomfort than we are to an unfamiliar new possibility because of the familiarity, not even the comfort. I became comfortable living in the discomfort of the unknown.
Instead of making big macro goals, you know, those big bodacious goals, make some micro goals, smaller goals. I don't make an annual goal. I make quarterly goals. I make monthly goals. And each quarter and each month, the goal that I hit, I stop and celebrate myself. Now, I celebrate myself by making me something really good and inviting one person over or 3 people over and say, I'm celebrating myself for small micro wins. Taking myself out for a nice night, something to eat, or just sharing with a friend. Celebrating yourself along the journey is also not keeping your wins a secret. I used to keep my victories a secret. I would get an award, or I would close a deal, or I would get a new contract, or I would whatever. And no one knew because I didn't want to brag. Well, what if I know I'm not a bragger? Like, what if you know you're not a bragger? Can you not be someone who brags, but is someone who wants to celebrate yourself along the journey? We're all like little 3-year-old kids. What gets celebrated gets repeated. And if you want to repeat successful behaviors, then you got to celebrate them, because what's celebrated gets repeated.
The first thing I said was, I'm done with this level of misery. So I didn't run toward anything first. The first thing I did was try to get as far away from chaos and scarcity and lack and procrastination and procrastinating people and making excuses, making being a single mom an excuse, or being black an excuse, or being born in LA an excuse. Not to say those things don't impede or have an impact on our ability to move forward, but I didn't want to make any one of them my crutch as to why I stayed in my hellhole. I don't know about anyone else, but my place, I didn't know where I was going, but I knew where I was leaving.
Over my career, and I've been in business over 20 years now, people from all around the world, students at every level, whether they are newly into launching their business or they've been in business themselves for 10, 15 years, ask the question, how do I overcome fear? I'm about to disrupt you completely because I am not going to give you a strategy to overcome fear. Because if I even attempt to give you a strategy, and I know we're always looking at stuff, reading things, how to overcome fears. There are probably 10 steps to overcoming fear somewhere out there. They weren't written by me, and I could never write it. Because I don't think you wait to overcome fear to live the life of your dreams or the one that you deserve or to blow your own mind. I personally, and I'm teaching you from my life lessons, from what I've studied, what I've applied, what I've implemented, what I've fallen from, what I've soared from, what I've gotten up from. And I don't think you focus on learning how to overcome fear, though there are things that helps to mitigate your fear. Information mitigates fear. Training and developing your skill set mitigates fear. I teach speaking. I love teaching people how to speak powerfully. Not to speak to be great, but to speak to be unforgettable. Whether you're a speaker or whether you're a manager, whether you're in retails or network marketing, whatever it is, when you open your mouth, you want to be unforgettable. And people always say, Lisa, how do I overcome the fear of speaking? I say, let's not focus on the fear of speaking because energy grows where energy goes. So let's not focus on overcoming fear. Let's focus on building a muscle that naturally dissolves fear. And that muscle is the muscle of information, the muscle of education, and the muscle of skill set. So if you know more and then you develop the skill set, you won't be as afraid to do that thing that you're talking about. But the other side to that, now I'm going to disrupt you a bit. So the first part, not so disruptive. That means go get it more information, give fear what fear needs to reduce itself, meaning information, skill set. But this other part that I'm going to tell you, this might be disruptive. How about you not try to mitigate, resolve, or get past or overcome, whatever you want to call it? How about you not try to do that with fear? How about you allow the fear to sit with you? You just commit to keep moving, even with the fear. So many times in my life and in my career, I was afraid. The difference between me and most is that I still move forward with the fear. Fear does not have a past to stop you. Fear does not have a past to stop you. First of all, let me just tell you this. Just like compassion, just like love, just like respect, just like any other feeling you feel for someone, fear is just a feeling. We just give fear more power. We say, when compassion comes, I hug, I love. When understanding comes, when joy comes, when humor comes, I laugh. But when fear comes, I get to stop. What if you change the meaning to that? Ooh, just stick with me right here. What if you change your dance with fear? What if you tell fear, you're welcome in my life because you're gonna come. Can't keep you away. But when you come, I'm not going to stop. And you say your name first. Lisa, I commit to you that. And you make 7 different commitments to yourself. That before you go out of your door and you commit to other people, because you know, we're more apt to honor our commitment to other people than we are to honor our commitment to ourselves. We break our commitments to ourselves all the time. And yet when I give you my word, oh man, you can bet your last dime on that word and you will end up with 20 cents. But what happens when you begin to commit to yourself? You'll see that making commitments to you not only feel as good as making commitments to other people, but they feel better. Because when you show up for you, you serve everybody else from your overflow. One of the big things that I've learned is that the more I owned my own authority, the more I can honor other people's awareness, honor where they are. The more I stood in my own grace and compassion, the more I can honor the grace and compassion of others. The more I owned my no, the more grateful I was for other people's yeses. So it's just one of these things where the more you work on you, the more you turn the mirror to you versus pointing at everyone else, the more you turn the mirror to you and work on you, man, the dynamics between you and everyone else just gets richer. I became a more compassionate, more giving, more loving friend when I became more compassionate, giving, and loving to Lisa.
I say to you, I didn't choose the possibility first. I just stopped choosing the chaos. See, there's a couple of there's several choices you have to make, because your answer isn't going to come with the ceiling opening and lights beaming in and a choir showing up and like, no, that doesn't happen like that. If the first thing is, I was sick of smelling my own crap. I was sick of hearing my own story. I was sick of wondering about my own potential. So I realized that everything I had done had gotten me where I was. And everything I didn't know was going to get me somewhere else.
Consciously, we have a tendency to do things to influence someone's perception of us. And really what we're trying to do is change or control. That word again. We're trying to control their perception of us because we feel like they're being judging. So we get into the proving business. I said in another Lisa Nichols episode that you have nothing to prove, nothing to protect, nothing to hide, and nothing to defend. That's not just a mouthful of words. That is literally a lifetime of disconnecting from the need to prove to someone you're smart enough, you're kind enough, you're loving enough, you're worthy enough, you're enough, ... Right? And I remember for years, because I didn't graduate from college, I was always trying to prove I was smart enough. Always. And then I had a son without being married. So then I wanted to prove that I was godly enough. I was always trying to prove something until it just became so exhausting. What I was doing was trying to control people's judgment of me. Procrastination is really putting off your own desires. Procrastination is putting yourself last. Procrastination shows up when we are so used to putting everyone else in front of us, or we're actually afraid to do that thing that we say we want to do because we're not sure if we can handle the outcome. But the whole attachment to procrastination and self-love, what you can do tomorrow, why not do today? What you can do today, why not do right now? One of my team members talked about reading a book called Touch It Once, which means if you can touch it once and get it done, how much more productive will you be? What happens when you feel like you're always being judged? Number one is divorce yourself from trying to manage someone's judgment of you. I know that sounds backwards because we want to go over there and change them. I know. Well, when I figure that one out, you'll be the first to know. But in the meantime, how can you separate yourself, divorce, I know it's a strong word, but that's the separation, from the need to monitor other people's judgment of you? Let me tell you what that answer is. You go over to self-awareness. You go over to recognizing I am whole. I am smart enough. I am wise enough. I am kindly enough, not from a bragging way, not from a self-righteous way, from the most humble way possible. Can you wake up tomorrow morning and be content with who you are, irregardless of anyone's opinion of you once you leave the house, or maybe the person next to you, or the people downstairs, the people in your same house? Can you wake up tomorrow standing and living in the statement and the knowing, I am enough, and then leave everyone's opinion to them?